and the risk for heat-related illness amongst our young athletes. But why are heat-related illnesses happening when it's so easily preventable?
Here is what can be done to make you and those around you safer while being active in the heat. The key to avoiding heat-related illness is education
And prevention.
The coaches, the trainers, the parents, and even the athletes themselves need to be educated on things they can do not only to recognize and treat heat-related illness, but to prevent it from happening as well.
Identifying any pre-existing ailments or conditions that an athlete may have, such as a family history of heart disease, obesity, or being on prescription drugs, needs to be taken into consideration. Coaches and trainers should have all your medical history prior to beginning any sport.
Another key to the prevention of heat-related illness is acclimatization, the process of adjusting to a climate before participating in any severe athletic activity. Getting your body used to the outdoors from being inside an air-conditioned environment takes time and patience. Another thing to take into consideration is to know when to practice.
As it gets warmer, more attention has to be directed towards the apparent temperature, or also known as the heat index. But why is the heat index important?
Using a meteorological instrument called a sling psychrometer, you can record a dry bulb temperature as well as a wet bulb temperature from two different thermometers on the same device. This data can then produce the percentage of relative humidity for that day by looking on a relative humidity chart.
Then, by plotting the relative humidity reading with the air temperature reading, you can get the heat index, or how hot the heat-humidity combination makes it feel. For example, if it's 85 degrees outside and the relative humidity is at 90%, which it very well could be in our area, the heat index would be at 102 degrees. And according to the apparent temperature chart, this sport activity is in the red zone, and one should proceed with extreme caution.
Relative humidity can be obtained by watching the weather forecast on TV or looking it up online for your area. But the most accurate way of finding the true relative humidity is measuring it at your location at the time you are participating in the sport and by consistently using the sling psychrometer. Depending on what color zone and heat index temperature it is, you might need to take extra precautions.
If you find your heat index to be in the yellow zone, some precautions might include the need to take more frequent water breaks, limit the amount of exercise to 15 or 20 minutes, or find a shaded area and be required to drink more fluids. Many times, extra padding and gear should also be removed in this zone to allow the body to cool off quicker.
If your heat index is in the orange zone, the athletes may consider doing practice indoors or be allowed to wear breathable clothing as a precaution to the onset of heat-related illness.
If by chance the heat index is in the red zone, one should advise that all outside activities should be postponed for that day, as to avoid heat-related injuries.
If an athletic trainer is on duty, it is their responsibility to make sure that the heat index procedures are followed. If there is no athletic trainer, a coach or team captain needs to step up and call for frequent water breaks. We even recommend that during the playing of matches or games, another thing to consider is allowing a referee to require built-in water breaks during all sporting events. TV timeouts are allowed, why not water timeouts?
But there could be plenty more that can be done to avoid heat-related illness. Designating a tree or shade as a go-to spot if someone is not feeling well may be helpful. If no shade is available, the use of a pop-up tent will do just as good a job.
Another way is implementing a buddy system, where each kid watches out for another player on their team. Making sure your buddy is okay is just as important as playing the game. Adequate rest and proper diet is also a huge role in preventing heat-related illness. 6 to 8 hours of rest every night and eating a balanced diet that replenishes nutrients is a must.
Lastly, one should monitor weight loss and understand that for every pound of weight lost during practice, one should drink 8 ounces of fluid.
All of these precautions start with education and prevention. We are in the process of creating specific guidelines, recommendations to the athletic department at Williston in regard to heat-related illness prevention.
We encourage everyone involved in the athletic activities to invest in a sling psychrometer and make heat-related illnesses and possible death a thing of the past in youth sports.
It has been a presentation made by
Demetra Sierras
and Amelia DeFrancis for Mr. Ware's 8th grade science class at the Williston Northampton School. Thank you.